Hey guys, it's Adam here. I am currently in the United Kingdom. Specifically in Bath, England, as you can tell by the Union Jack, and of course the weather, where I am sad to report to my fellow Americans that the United Kingdom does still outlaw clear skies and sunny weather. You're not allowed to ever see the sun here. That is a joke. It is a joke. Let's move on. Okay, so while we walk and talk and I show you the town of Bath, England, I first have to say I wasn't intending on making a video here, so I apologize for all the background, the audio, everything, the fact that it's raining and there's nothing I can do about it, whatever. I also want to give some updates because the previous episode of Playload, I got a new microphone and a lot of people had mixed opinions on that. My next video that's after this one was pre-recorded before I left, so it still has that, but a lot of people are telling me to get rid of it, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's just some small channel updates. Also, before we talk about the subject at hand, if you guys could do me a favor, please like the video, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't done it before. Check all the social media stuff in the description, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, Retro Travel Channel. You guys know the routine. Thank you. Okay. Let's talk about what's going on. I'm sure limited run games. A lot of you people have heard of it. Yes, you people, meaning gamers. You know what limited run games is. Personally, I haven't bought anything from limited run games in years. I think the last thing I bought from them was the Shenmue 3 like collector's edition that had like the DLC on disc version and all that with the Chobu-chan figures, whatever. So I haven't really been in the loop on them. Now, at the time I'm recording this, there's been a little bit of a news story that has broke, mostly by a guy known as Retro Frog. I apologize to you, sir, if you're watching this video. I don't know you personally, but nothing against you, obviously. But right now, he remains the only source on this. However, I guarantee that will change if it turns out to be true or false. The story goes that since limited run, like I said, I haven't been paying much attention to what they've been doing. Also, this is a pizza place here. Don't eat pizza in the United Kingdom. They think of Domino's as like real food. Anyway, I love the United Kingdom. I'm actually going out to get Indian food right now. But yeah, so limited run games, I didn't even really know this. They've started getting into remaking retro stuff. So like legacy games for legacy hardware. I know they like reissued Star Wars games for the N64 and stuff like that. Effectively, they're repros, right? And everybody goes into it knowing that. And that includes stuff they're working on now. Like they apparently what they just put out, they started doing 3DO stuff. I know for a while they were talking about reissuing some TurboGrafx or PC Engine CD games, Rondo of Blood, for example. One of the games they just put out was D, which is a famous horror game available on a whole bunch of systems in the 5th gen era. And specifically, this all comes from the fact they reissued it for the 3DO. Now, as I understand, they charge $65 for this, for some new collector's edition, etc. Now, that would be no big deal. Everybody understands going into this, you're getting a reproduction of the game, you're not getting an original copy. It's just that it's been licensed and it's authorized, you're allowed to do it, etc. We understand that. Companies like Songbird Productions, who I buy stuff from, like they put out Nuon games, you know, like I just talked about it, Tempest 3000. But here's the kicker. Like with Songbird, they know well enough to do pressed copies. The story that is out there right now is that Limited Run's reissue of D is actually a CDR. Now, a CDR would mean anybody could have burned that with a CD burner. And then effectively you were just buying it for the packaging with the assumption that you're really just never going to open it, you're never going to look at it, etc., which is just like baffling. So again, this comes from a person known as Retro Frog, because I guess he actually bought this game, chose to open it, I guess he chose to dump it, or at least have his PC detect what type of disc it is, and his system came up as detecting it as a CDR. Now, personally, if you just look at the bottom of a CDR, you can verify whether or not it's a CD or a CDR or a pressed disc. Why this matters, A, CDRs do not have the longevity of a pressed disc. That's just basic reality. But also just the fact that anybody could burn a CDR and just put on like their own inkjet cover on it. There's no reason to call that official. So at that point, you're just paying Limited Run for the fact that they got the license to do it, even though they didn't bother to make a quality product. And I must say this again, this is, at the time I'm recording this, is unsubstantiated. I personally have not seen one of these discs. I didn't order one. But I do want to talk about the very notion of making something on a CDR like that. Because if that's the case, and never declaring it, that's objectively wrong. And a lot of people are saying, well, like realistically, they probably only sold like 50 copies of D, so it probably wasn't really worth their time to go get it pressed. Okay, but that's not okay. Like, I understand that. But that's not acceptable because you didn't tell anybody that this was a made-on-demand disc, assuming this is true. But in the case of someone like Songbird, the Nuon games, which maybe they produce 100 copies at best, they never tell you like, hey, we burned this to a DVD-R just because we couldn't afford it. They actually take the time to do it correctly. That's if it can apply to a small company like Songbird, limited run games should be able to handle that no problem. So it really kind of kills me on this one because a lot of ways, even though people have their issues with limited run games, a lot of things they do are not great. I've always been kind of a defender of theirs, saying like ultimately they're giving you options to things you wouldn't have otherwise had. I'm not gonna lie, this really is a fly in the ointment here if this is true, because that's not cool, man. You don't put out CDRs of stuff where you don't tell people that's the case. So we'll see as this pads out. More and more people are receiving their copies of the games, and I'm assuming now more and more people will open them up and determine whether or not it's in fact a CDR. And I know that may not sound like a big deal to a lot of people, but you have to understand the target demographic for a reissue like this is the collector's market. It's people who care passionately about having that kind of content, not just, hey, I want an easy access to play that particular game, because the game is only going to work on original hardware anyway, well, other than emulation, I guess. But we live in a day and age where anybody could download the ISO and just burn it themselves if they really wanted to. The other thing with that is, by the way, the 3DO has multiple models. Not every model actually runs burned games, and some of them don't run it particularly well. Some do, but basically you reissued a game, assuming this is true, that actually doesn't work on most of the systems, and you didn't declare that. So like, you guys know if you watch my Dreamcast videos, I do videos about all the new indie Dreamcast games. And the indie Dreamcast games, one of my rules, it has to be on a press disc. Has to be. Otherwise it's just homebrew at that point. It's not the same thing. It's not a real product. Because I could do that. If I could do it at my computer without ever leaving my room or whatever, then how is that a real thing? So that's just how I feel. And it does make me go, I don't think I was actually holding out. I was planning to buy that Rondo of Blood reissue. But if this is now the template for how Limited Run Games is going to approach this, then I don't really think I want to do it. And that kind of kills me a little bit, because I was actually really looking forward to that. But now I can't trust. If you can't trust that something like that isn't going to be an official piece of merch, then why invest in it? When I say invest, I don't mean like literally for financial purposes and potential gains. I mean like putting your hard-earned money into something where you think you're getting one product and you're getting another. I don't like that. So it really bothers me. So I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of strong opinions on limited run games, and especially about this situation, but I do want to say once again, at the time I'm recording this, this is unsubstantiated. It is not something I was able to verify myself because I didn't buy this, and I have no intention of getting it, so I couldn't personally check the bottom of a disc and check for myself. Really, we're just more discussing what if this is true, because if it is, it's really, really bad. So there you go. Meantime, I hope you've enjoyed some background of England, and again, a reminder that sunlight is in fact illegal here despite Brexit. So anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Do me a favor, please like the video, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't done that before. Check out all the social media stuff in the description: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, Spreadshirt, Travel Channel, etc. Travel Channel will actually have a lot of stuff on Bath, which is where we are. But yeah, beyond that, really just want to hear everybody's opinions on this situation, and I guess limited run games in general. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all later.